It is a big day for the Nyamalale people in Limpopo, near the Zimbabwe border. Today, the traditional authority will inaugurate their headman as chief. The Nyamalale are also waiting to get back their land. It was taken from them in the 1930s and handed over to white farmers. There are claims on over 80% of Limpopo's agricultural land. It is reported that not even half of them have been settled. Wilson Nyamalale is the man who lodged the claim for his community's ancestral land. He is also the man who will soon be chief. The community are hoping to have a chief in place and ready to govern by the time they get their title deeds. They expect that to be soon. For the first time in many years, life is looking up for this community. This is Beat Bezuidenhout. He owns the land the Nyamalale are claiming. He's been invited to the ceremony and has come to witness Wilson's inauguration. He's decided to oppose the claim and is intending to fight it in the Land Claims Court. It is his legal right to do so.
It's the first time he's invited me to his house to sit here.
Our research and evidence that we have discovered confirms that indeed the land was occupied and used by the black communities and that were removed in the area.
According to the facts that we have and to the many old people that we spoke to that grew up in this area, I'm talking really old people, people that are probably 80, 90 years old. We found a few of them here in South Africa that grew up here and in Zimbabwe. And they say that that is not true. No one has been forcefully removed. That's why I feel that, you know, if that is genuine the case, and if it can be proven, we've got a good chance to probably keep our place.
Basemalala kudala bahlala lapho nje inkosi inkulu uRambuda manje laba belungu mabafika lapha bo 1930 babaxotsha lapha babakhiphela ngapha nje bathi hamba niyohlala ngale sifuna ukwenza amaplaza la bayenza amaplaza sasa sala nabo ukhona omnye umuzi wasemalale la.
Wilson and his community will have to fight this issue in court. Right now, though, there's another urgent problem. The pending land restoration has complicated relations in the community. Wilson's older brother has managed to get a court interdict to put a stop to these proceedings. He thinks he should be inaugurated as chief, not Wilson. The guests now gather at Wilson's home to comfort him. Even Beat is there, the man who might lose his land to the Nyamalale. For now, all the Nyamalale's celebrations are put on hold. They've been patiently waiting since 1998, when they lodged their claim with the Land Claims Commission. This is Popalin Ranch, owned by Beat's family since the 1990s. This is the land that Wilson wants back. Beat Bezuidenhout estimates it to be worth 30 to 40 million rand. He's a wealthy businessman and builds golf courses around the country. He's turned this place into a luxury getaway. The Land Claims Commission was supposed to settle all claims by December 2005, but it's missed the deadline. Many criticized both the Commission and government for the slow pace of reform, saying they are the reason it takes so long for claimants to get their land. If Beat Bezuidenhout has anything to do with it, the gate will be shut on the Nyamalale claim forever.
What amazed me is that anything that people indicate as their forefathers or a grave, they've just accepted. They didn't ask her opinion. They didn't ask, you know, the landowner do you agree or not? I was there. They didn't ask me one question. They just accepted what what the claimants say is true.
Angazi lutho ngoba wazala ngo 97. Manje mina asingakhulumi namuntu lo angazi le ndawo le kithi ngoba ukuzaka 97 manje angazi ukuthi le ndawo iphuma kuphi iya ize njani la.
Mawumbona ungathi ulungile ngoba elanga masiclaim elizwe leli sihambe naye sayishona le nto ngisini yonke sabhekisisa labantu basemalala bahamba babhekisise.
It's one or two things that they got completely wrong because I've built it. And the people have actually directed it as graves, and it's not graves because I've built it. To me, that is, they just take any information and think that it's true.
Kunenye ndawo wawulungisa kahle wathi nguvenda start. Yeah. Ekunye ngilapha ezintabeni lezi ngathi liya Limpopo ranch Malala the divert camp. Kunezintaba so sibe sihlala khona lapha ephezulu.
The moment we start coming in as the commission and saying, look, we are interested in getting a piece of this land for this community, there are lawyers that come into the picture and make make killing out of advices. And I think my suspicion is that in this case, somebody came in and advised that you can challenge this claim, the commission has got no right, and you can fight it.
We were all very negative at a point, very, very negative. My oldest son, he's a professional hunter. He used to work for us here. He was managing the farm. When that started and the claims were coming, he said he doesn't, want to live here anymore. He's actually moved. He left us.
Piet's family have reason to be despondent. The disputed land is a prime 10-hectare breakaway resort. It has 30 kilometers of river and the Big Five. The Nemalale don't intend changing any of that. They wanted Piet to run it for them before he decided to take them to court.
Asifuna ukuqoshwa umuntu singakoshwa umuntu kukhona inyamazana lapha abantu abasebenza lapha angazi ukuthi bangakhe or bafika 60 or bafika 100 angabazi kahle bonke bantu bayasebenza mase isimqoshwa lapha bantu basebenza phi.
The Nemalale claim may be 7 years old, but there is a long road ahead now that Piet's family intends challenging it. The process of land restoration has tested the patience of many communities around the country. They believed that by December 2005, their ancestral lands would have been returned to them, as promised.
Sizokhuluma nabo ngiyathemba ukuthi before December sizobabamba meeting nabo ukuthi no umhlaba ukuthi wazosinika nini. Ngoba bangasiniki lo mhlaba wethu sizenza ukuthi siyongena siyothatha ngenkani. Ngoba nala singene ngenkani.
Over the past few years, the Minister of Land Affairs, Thokoti Diza, has celebrated with many communities around the country as their land claims are finally settled. The newly acquired land promises new opportunities, perhaps even an escape from poverty. But that's not always what happens when the celebrations are over.
That gap actually between settlement celebration and making productive use of the land actually it's too big. That frustrates communities that stay in poor villages, remaining landless and poor without jobs and no source of livelihood.
This is Blinkwater near Makhado in Limpopo. The Libelo people successfully claimed this grape farm and danced in celebration in 2004. But now they're waiting. George Mpira has worked on this farm for the last 25 years. He knows everything there is to know about growing grapes. He chose not to join the previous farmer when he moved out. He thought he could help his people, the farm's new owners. But there's been a problem. Sometime after the celebrations, the previous farmer left, but the new owners couldn't move in. They didn't have the title deed or any money. In the meanwhile, the farm's water system has been vandalized. Farming at Blinkwater is now impossible.
What happens is that immediately you investigate a claim and you gazette it and say that land is gazetted, meaning you have accepted it as a valid claim. Most landowners stop investing in that land. let's stop taking care of it because it's going. And I think that has been a trend. And when that happens, you can't go there and say, no, you need to continue watering this, you need to continue putting pesticide and fertilizers. You can't force that.
Die pomp is weg daar zo. En het hem gesteel. Hij is niet weer daar zo. En die kabel ook. 250. Hij is weg. En het hem ook gesteel. Dat dam is van die water direct tot bij de gronddam. Bij de gronddam, ik heb hier geweest, hij stuurt bij die drijven toe. En die staat er, hij is weg. Hij heeft hem ook gesteel. En die staat er ook daar zo. Hij heeft hem gesteel. Hij heeft allemaal gesteel hier zo.
The moment you give them land and not equip them, you give them the necessary resources to do that. For me, that's counter-revolutionary. It's counter-revolutionary because it arms the enemies of a much-needed land reform.
Kijk, het is niet de blaren van die drijving. En hier is soort van drijving. Het is number 1 drijving. Wat hij gaan oorkant. De overseas. Kijk, zijn trossie. Wat hij zoekt. Dat trossie is al niet werken. Want hij is zelf gegroeid. Hij is niet gewerkt. Hij heeft niet water gekregen. Je krijgt hoeveel wat hij zwaar krijgt. Hij is niet trossie. Hij is niet trossie, hij is trossie. Hij is niet helpen. Maar hij drijven. Hij maakt zo groot korrel. Zo. Maar zo en zo, kijk. Want hij is zo kon. Het is die laatste jaar van dat drijven als hij zo is. Weer gaan allemaal dood. Hij zal niet leven. Nie. Dat is die laatste keer om te zo leven.
There's no river on Blinkwater, but plenty of water underground, all a commercial farmer could need. This pump is fully functional, but the water is fed to the nearby mines of the previous owner, Anglo Platinum. Blinkwater, without its water system, remains dry. A farm lying vacant has its own problems. The poor in the neighborhood move in and clear the fields like this woman, or search for wood, stripping the land of trees.
To be honest, these people are not even, they're not very sure what their real status of the land is, basically. They're not very sure. They're not even sure actually whose responsibility it is to provide security on the farm.
George tries his best to keep strangers off the farm. His life has been threatened many times.
If you get ownership of land, in actual fact, it is also their proactive responsibility. You can't have an asset and then sit and say, no one is talking to me. You are the owner of that property. Why don't you then try to find ways of finding who can assist you?
Remember, we don't know the know-how of running the farm. We don't have the know-how. And we were sure that the people, the people of the commission are going to, they know who is responsible for what. They are our ears and eyes. They must go. The people of the department that come and workshop our people. Call those with the expertise. Come and train our people.
Let's be realistic here. We're dealing with communities that at best can be described as poverty-stricken. These are people who have been dispossessed. People that we know that they don't have money. Therefore, it's unrealistic of anybody to just give them land and not provide any support or funds.
The apartheid government played a major role in setting up and financing white commercial farmers. There was plenty of cheap labor and few labor laws. Today, communities like this are largely left to go it alone. It's a truly daunting task.
Wat ek het badedryf is ek wat ek het hom geplant. Van klein af ek het hom geplant. Ek weet alles om te die drywe stuur. Ek weet by die koelkamer alles. Kensmis, water, alles. Die mense wat hier werk, ek ken hoeveel so. Maar daai goed, nie een wat het gewerk nie. Nie een nie. Nie een van daai goed nie. Ons het nie trekker nie, ons het nie spyt nie. Ons het nie mense nie. Ek alleen by die plaas. My hart is hier. Wat gaan ik maken? Ik heb niet geld niet. Het is niet mijn drijven en ik is man wat ik werk net. Mijn mensen ook wel het niet geld. En vooral die geld bij de government, maar de government kan je niet helpen. En de praat zo, morgen praat hij zo. Morgen praat zo, morgen praat hij zo. Ik denk dat hij zoekt die drijven dat hij doodgaan zoals andere mensen zijn plaats. Ik denk zo. Dan zal hij blij.
The gap between settling a claim and occupation creates a window of opportunity. Blinkwater's previous farmer took that opportunity.
Meneer Toebelsie heeft groot aircon daar uitgehaald. Daar is het gebreken. Ja, zijn breken was eerst maar hij heeft hem niet weer recht gemaakt. Hier zo heeft aircon uitgehaald. Je ziet zijn stekken niet zo. Alle plekken zijn stekken. Het is niet goed. Die man heeft hem net zo gelost.
We're not dealing with a natural disaster here. We're dealing with something that can be managed, basically.
Could you please ask the commission to come and see the damage and the loss at Galebel that we are encountering there? Just to come and see the riches that is getting lost there.
The next door farm, Sterkwater, is further proof that there needs to be a rethink on the timing of land handovers. The Kokamatlo community saw this house during the first inspection. It was intact. 6 months later, it looked like this. The previous occupant had left, and the writing was on the wall. A year later, the Land Commission has still not released the title deeds to these two communities in Limpopo, let alone the development grants.
The people there at our community, they don't believe us anymore, we the committee. They don't take a word from us. They think, no, that's the only song, and you cannot take a land from a white man. These people, they're telling us lies.
There was little to sing about on this farm not too long ago. This is Zebediela citrus farm in Limpopo. It proves that farms transferred to original owners are not destined for collapse, that they can be commercially viable, but the process has to be properly managed. Three years ago, the Land Commission handed back this farm to its original owners. They didn't have it easy, but today they can offer valuable advice to others.
I would say those communities who have maybe can be given land now, they must try by all means to work together. And because it's a new thing, they must engage themselves to learning. They must have the strategic partner who is not really willing to enrich himself.
The grant that came, or the grants that come into the farm have helped the infrastructure. So it's helped the process. And initially, obviously, we had to wait for the cash initially. But it's once we start getting the money from government or from the Land Claims Commission, it put the farm into a better position and enabled the farm to develop.
This is the crucial reason why this farm has succeeded, and the grape farm Blinkwater hasn't. New black landowners need financial support and training long before the transfers go through. Otherwise, they start off completely handicapped and often don't recover. Zebediela not only supplies supermarkets in South Africa, but exports to Europe and Asia as well. Part of the profits are used for worker and community development. Zebediela has even started expanding in other directions. Their livestock of over 300 cattle is now more than a year old and is already providing an income.
If there is workers also, they must never say it because they have the land, then they take out the workers, or the workers must be retrenched. They will be making a very big mistake, because sometimes we get a starting partner who is a white person, although he's a South African, but he cannot explain to the farm owners exactly what's transpired or what is happening when irrigation, when do any other job in their mother language.
This working environment is setting new standards in the industry, a departure from the practices of the past. It is like new wine in new wineskins for the workers of Zebediela.
In terms of a whole agreement with the community, in each department we will have a management, and we will have a management staff member that's a Biahlali community staff member. All the parties are going to take it forward, but I think, why does Zebediela work? I think it's, the bottom line is commitment to making sure that this process goes forward. And obviously we've had support from various parties, so if we didn't have that support it wouldn't have worked, but I think it's commitment and support from a variety of parties.
Zebediela shows that the Land Commission can get it right. To succeed, the process must be properly managed, something that hasn't happened in many other claims. But future delays now seem inevitable for those waiting patiently for land. The deadline for all claims has been moved to 2008. As in many other cases, multi-million rand Papolin Ranch has a long way to go before its future is decided. The Nemalale community's land claim must be decided in court before they can finally sing a happy song for the land. They will still face many problems before their business is up and running. The Land Commission can help sort out these problems for new landowners and so sow the seeds for prosperous commercial black farming.